I want to show you something really cool, you guys. It's about the RP2 Plus. This thing is a freaking portable game console. It's my favorite part of this device and nobody is talking about it. And today I'm going to tell you why I love it so much and show you how it works. Hi there, I'm TechDweeb. Hello and welcome. Thanks for clicking on the video. You know, I love the Retroid Pocket 2 Plus. I've been having a ton of fun with this thing. Whoa! How does a knight move again? Like this? Oh look, I win! In your face, loser. Oh yeah! No, press A to jump. Press A. Jump! Oh my god, you suck at this game. Whoa! Are you gonna eat that licorice? No? Okay, more for me then. Alright, do you have any more brown pieces? I need some more brown for Phantom's horns, or sticks, or whatever those things are. Oh yeah, I've had this thing for a few months now. I had a chance to put it through its paces, and I've learned a lot about it. There are a lot of things it does well, a few things it doesn't do as well, but overall, my long-term review is that it's freaking awesome. In my original review of this thing, like back when I first got it, in that review, I said, you get so much gaming potential with this thing. You can obviously run your classic retro games like Game Boy Advance or Super Nintendo or PS1 or Saturn, but you also get your Dreamcast games and your Nintendo 64 games. You get some of your GameCube games, and PS2, and PSP, and Nintendo DS, and native Android games, and PC streaming. This is the sort of functionality and performance that I'd expect from a device that costs more than this. 99 bucks, and you get all that? Are you kidding me? And I stand by that. It really is an amazing device for the price. The Retroid Pocket 3 is coming out soon. I actually have one of those on pre-order. And of course, I'll be doing a review of that as soon as I can, so get subscribed so you don't miss that. But does that mean the Retroid Pocket 2 Plus is a piece of obsolete garbage? Well, no, not at all. The Retroid Pocket 3 isn't that much more powerful than the Retroid Pocket 2 Plus. It has a bigger, wider screen, but lots of the games in this thing runs well aren't widescreen games anyways. So I think the Retroid Pocket 2 Plus is still a solid choice, even considering that the Retroid Pocket 3 is now available to order. But this video today isn't to talk about this or that, about the RP2 Plus, or about the RP3, or about how my cat's ear medicine tastes like licorice, and it does, by the way. I wanted to show you something really cool about this thing. This is hands down my favorite feature of the RP2 Plus, and nobody's really talking about it for some reason. I guess I didn't really talk about it much in my first review, but it's so cool that I wanted to make an entire video just on this feature. And that feature is, this thing is a portable retro gaming console. I don't mean like a retro handheld emulation device. I mean a game console for your TV. Let me tell you a story. One time when I was young, I was at the movie theater and I laughed so hard that I peed my pants. My mom asked the man who sold the popcorn if he had any extra underpants, and no, not that story. Tell the story about the Retro Pocket 2 Plus, the home console thing. Oh yeah. Okay, so about a week ago, I was visiting my aunt and uncle, and I was playing with my cousins. I was showing them the Retroid Pocket 2 Plus and all the games that it had on it. They asked if they could play Ninja Turtles, and I was like, no, sorry. We can't all play at the same, wait a second. I looked in my bag, and I had these with me. These little 8BitDo02 Bluetooth controllers. And I also had my micro HDMI cord because that's what I use for my camera. So I did some TechDweeb magic, and in a few minutes we were playing Ninja Turtles on the TV. All of us with our own controllers. And that's when I realized the best part of this device. It's like a retro game Nintendo Switch. Now, I know that you can do this sort of thing with a ton of devices. You're probably screaming at the screen like, oh my gosh, my phone can do that. But here's the thing. Your phone isn't a dedicated portable gaming device that has all your games on it that you use for portable gaming that can also be a portable home console. And yeah, there are other retro handhelds that can do this. Other Android-based retro handheld emulation devices that you can hook up to a TV and use like a console, but this thing is 99 bucks. And it can handle a lot of higher-end systems. It can do all your PS1, Nintendo 64, Dreamcast, Sega Saturn, lots of PSP, Nintendo DS, even a little bit of GameCube and PS2. And you can do all of that while it's hooked up to a TV with 4 players, each on their own little Bluetooth controllers. And it works great. So how does it work? Well, it's pretty simple, but you'll need to do a few things to make it all streamlined. First, you'll need all your emulators installed and your game library set up, obviously. Check out my first RP2 Plus video on how I set up all that stuff. Next, you'll want an emulation frontend. The RP2 Plus comes with its own front end, but I had a bunch of problems with it. I have been wrestling with this thing for days, and I'm just freaking done at this point, as I explained in my video, so I chose Dig for my front end. You know, to make the whole setup feel like a real game console. With all your systems and games all nicely displayed and easy to navigate with a controller. I made a whole video guide on how to set up Dig on an Android device. I'll include a link to that video in the description below if you want to watch it after this video, of course. And you'll need a micro HDMI cord to get the video and audio onto your TV. And you'll need a Bluetooth controller, or multiple Bluetooth controllers, depending on how many players you want to be able to play with at the same time. And that's it. You get that and you have everything you need. And one of the best parts about this whole thing is that that's a tiny amount of stuff. Look at this. It all fits in one hand. Just 3 little Bluetooth controllers and a micro HDMI dongle. This entire emulation console and all the stuff can fit into one single pocket. There's very little setup needed. These 8BitDo02 controllers, they have an Android mode. You just need to enable by holding start and B at the same time while you power it on. And for me, they just worked right away. However, if you're having problems with the controller, you might need to set up the controls in Retroid. I'm not going to explain how to do all the Retroid setup. It's pretty easy to figure out. I made a guide on how to use Retroid, how to set up controls, and how to save your settings and stuff. So I'll include a link to that video in the description below. That video was for the Miu MIDI, but the principles apply to any Retroid setup. And for standalone emulators, you might need to set up the controls for them on their own as well. You can get that sorted on your own though. It's not hard. Just try the controller. If it doesn't work right away, go into the settings and set it up. You can figure all that out. I believe in you, buddy. So with that out of the way, let's see how this works. Yeah, it works freaking great. When you have a Bluetooth controller connected, you can use it to navigate your entire device, even Android. You shouldn't need to use the touchscreen much at all. I love launching Dig and browsing through my games, playing my old favorites and discovering new ones. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. This is the best part of these retro emulation devices. You know, finding old games that you never played when you were a kid, on systems you never owned, all these hidden gems. It's like a trip through time, playing these old games on these old systems. And I found so many amazing games doing this. Some of my favorite games to play right now are actually old retro games that have been around for 20 years. And I just didn't know about them because I never had a chance to try them. Not every system will launch through Dig, I should mention. Sometimes it'll just launch the emulator, but you'll need to choose the game inside there. And sometimes it won't launch the emulator if Dig doesn't connect to that particular emulator. So you'll just launch it on its own through Android. And you won't have a hotkey to exit the emulator the same way you did with RetroArch. So you'll need to use the console itself and the touchscreen to handle that. So it's not a flawless home console experience, but come on, man, it's pretty darn close. And you don't need fancy controllers to have a good time either. Any cheap Bluetooth controller should be just fine. I can't vouch for all of them, but every Bluetooth controller I tried works fine. Also, check this out. You see this USB-C port on the top of the device? That's not just for charging. That takes inputs too. So if you have a controller that plugs in with USB-C for some reason, you could use it there. But what I did here is I got myself a little USB-C to USB-A adapter, and I could use that to plug in a physical controller. And you can use a hub to plug in multiple controllers. Look here, I have a USB GameCube controller that I got for an upcoming project that I want to make for the channel, and it works. It just works. No setup needed right out of the gate. How cool is that? I think you get the point. This thing isn't just a portable retro handheld. It is a portable retro handheld that you can turn into a home console with the addition of some Bluetooth controllers and a micro HDMI dongle. It works great. It's fun as heck. You can shove all this stuff in your pocket and pull out the RP2 Plus to play on the bus, or while you're waiting for your mom to try on old lady underwear, the details of which I'll leave up to your imagination. And then when you get to your cousin's house, you can plug it into their TV and play old school retro games, even though your uncle keeps condescendingly asking you, "Don't you think you're a little old for that?" Well, yeah, Uncle Jerkface, I am. And I don't care. Because retro games make me happy, and you're boring, and your car sucks, and you hate your job, and you have diabetes. And that brings us to the end. I hope you found this useful, or at least entertaining. Do any of you guys out there have an RP2 Plus? Are you holding out for the RP3? I'm excited to get my hands on that one. I will soon. I have it on pre-order. It seems pretty good, but I'm curious to see how it'll compare to the RP2 Plus. Or do you have another handheld game console that makes a good home console? I know there's others out there. I'd love to hear about your experience with this stuff in the comments below. This video has been brought to you by the patrons of TechDweeb. If you want to join my Patreon and support the things that I do, please consider checking out the link in the description below. And while you're down there, click the thumbs up button if you like the video, or the thumbs down button if you didn't. Subscribe if you haven't already for some reason. I'm TechDweeb. See you real soon. Bye-bye. Me and you and me. No matter how we toss the dice, it had to be. The only one for me is you, and you is me. So happy together. I can't